We ready?
Yeah.
Are we recording?
Yes, we
with
are.
everything?
Yep, with everything.
What?
All of it.
No way.
It's
Yeah.
all on.
All right, here we are. We're back. We got another guest with us today.
Mm-hmm.
We got Robby. Robby's back.
I'm back.
Robby's had a pretty exciting summer, actually, haven't you?
Kind of.
I
Kind of,
mean,
yeah.
We just well start right in it. Why don't you tell everybody what you've been up to since you've been on last?
Shooting bow.
Okay, you've been
lot.
shooting bow, but extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes. Depends on the day.
Well, since he's been on, it was actually not only outdoor, which just recently happened, but it was just after it was the indoor national final.
Yes.
And indoor nationals both, I think. After.
Yes. Yes, we can go over that too.
Yeah.
I
I was there for that one.
Indoor
That was
nationals,
cool.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I did not know what was going on. I'm watching. You have an arrow out. You didn't shoot one. And there's another arrow going, what the fuck, right?
Yeah.
We
I
didn't know
forgot about
scoring
that.
what they didn't explain it all. And I'm just,
Right.
I come down here after that. Bill was down here. Bill goes, I was screaming at the TV. Going,
It's a very Bill thing to do.
and
cool.
I'm still not sure what they did. I mean,
Yeah.
was it one arrow?
I can explain it.
Okay.
I can explain
We'll let
it.
Robby explain it.
First of all, it's super cool that people are like actually watching it. Roland came with us
Yeah, I
down
was
there,
there.
and so he was watching. So that was super cool. But like, there was a bunch of people that texted me saying they were watching live, and that's kind of humbling to me. Cause
Oh, I watched it live. It was neat as shit.
That's humbling to me because it's everybody knows me. I'm just me, simple
Yeah.
person, and everybody wanted to watch. So that was kind of cool. But as for the finals, none of us really were shooting well. None of the top 8 were shooting particularly well that
Yep.
day.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
It kind
you
of
watched-
showed.
And it was just who was gonna win the day.
Yeah.
If any of us had been like on our game, they would have been walkthroughs
Oh, yeah.
the whole way through.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The only person that shot well was I think his name's Nick Way, and he shot well in the bronze medal match. I think he was shooting like solid 28s, 29s, and I think a 30 somewhere in
wow.
there too. He was the one that shot against Maddie.
Okay.
for bronze.
Oh, that makes sense,
Yeah, he shot really well, but the rest of us not so much.
Yeah.
It was about an 8 average across the board.
Oh, man.
But
And
in the gold medal final, I don't remember the exact like sets and what happened. I know I came out of the gate pretty strong. Somewhere in the middle there, I shot the top spot well. Second spot, I just dipped low, and I mean like low, like it was in the top of the 6 ring on the bottom target when I was shooting for the middle one, and I did not know the rules. When I was in college, what we were told was that we have to shoot them in order, either bottom to top or top to bottom.
Okay.
You can't go out of order
Which,
from what you were doing.
I don't know if that's actually different, but I was screaming. I literally said to Jared next to me while we were watching, I was like, I hope Robby knows, or Matt is telling him that he needs to shoot the middle target now.
I did not hear that.
Well, I didn't yell it, but I was just like thinking, like, I hope I hope they fucking know. I hope they know.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what an idiot! But it didn't end up mattering. I don't think the score.
No, it was.
yeah.
It
in that
may
set.
it may have changed, but I think he shot a pretty solid end
Mm.
anyway.
Yep.
But I then put 2 arrows in the bottom spot because I thought I had to shoot him out of order or shoot him in order, so that one was already a miss.
Mm-hmm.
So I just made a strong shot. I don't remember where it landed. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
I was down 3-5, and for those who don't know, and if you've watched it, Recurve and Barebow do set system for our elimination matches. So we each shoot our 3 arrows, and the first the high score gets 2 set points. If you tie, you each get 1, and it's the first person to 6 who wins.
Okay. I did not
And then
know you
if
each
it
got
go-
one if you tied.
Yes.
Yep.
And if it goes 5-5, you go to a 1 arrow shoot off. Which, funnily enough, every one of my matches was decided by a 1 arrow shoot off.
Yep.
That's nuts.
And
The
what
first
was-
one, I was ahead. I faltered, and the Steve Oakley came back and forced this tie break. And my mindset with a 1 arrow shoot off is you just aim where you think you need to. Like if you're outside in the wind, pick your spot.
Yeah.
If you're indoors, just aim the middle, make the best shot you can. That's all you can control. And I shot a solid 9 against him. In the semifinal match, I was losing 5-1. Like back is against the wall. You could still lose by shooting a 30. Because if I shoot a 30, 10, 10, 10, and he shoots a 30, 10, 10, 10, we each get one set point, and then the match goes 6-2. He wins. Doesn't matter.
Mhm.
So I then fought back from 5-1. I don't remember the set scores.
I don't
but
either.
I pushed back, and I was just astounded at myself that I forced a shoot off. And I made a really, really good shot, and it was an inside out. It might have been an inside out X if there were X.
Yeah, because I remember the announcer
it was
going.
it was a
Yeah,
donut.
that pretty much sealed it.
Well, that was just the
That was the
preliminary to get there.
semifinal.
But he did that.
That one
literally
wasn't
all of
televised.
it. But
That one wasn't televised. I made pretty much the same shot in the gold medal match too.
yeah,
So yeah, I came back, forced to shoot off against Matty, made a really good shot, and his was good too. I think his was still in the gold, but it's really hard to beat and almost on the spider 10 when you're doing it closest to center.
yeah, it was ridiculous.
Gold medal match, terrifying. I had not been in that situation before, where it was televised, and I knew all my friends were watching at home because I shared it on Facebook.
What kind of feeling was it? I mean, is it anything? I know you said it's something like you've experienced.
Anxious.
Anxious. Okay.
I was anxious, which I shouldn't have been. That doesn't help. Those feelings of anxiousness don't help. But those emotions.
Was it there
are
the
difficult.
whole match?
Yeah.
It never.
It never settled.
It
Never settled.
So,
down.
and that's hard to practice with.
You can't.
You can't. You
I
can
tried.
never. You
I
can never
tried.
recreate that.
All winter, right? I would come in here and shoot at the shop, and I would shoot against anybody I could.
Yeah.
I remember shooting against Tad. I would shoot against Spanky when he came in. We would shoot matches together where you would just count the X as a 10
Yeah,
instead of
I forgot
Yeah.
about that. I think we did do
upright,
that.
straight up score. Anything you could to emulate pressure and know that you have to hit good shots to win or at least keep yourself in it. But I was down 3-5, and I almost lost it. I literally stayed in that match by this much. I barely caught a line on a match that would have had it go 6-2. And he would have won, like, tiny little bit. And I didn't really sweat it. I knew it was close. I was like, whatever, it is what it is.
It's shot.
And then, like, they put up the score, so it was 5-3. I was like, all right, we're still playing, sweet. And I shot 8-8-8 that end. Not good. And I just shot better. Went to the shoot off. I made a really quick shot. I was not settled or anything.
Yeah,
and
that's
it
what it looked
smoked
like.
an inside out 10. And I remember Matty in my coach's box. I shoot the shot, and I turn around to look at him. He's going, just big old fist pump. And I just sat, patiently waited for Marcus to shoot his, and his was not quite that. And it was just amazing, like the whirlwind, how everything can shift around so quickly in those set points. You don't see that in compound. You don't generally see a big shift like that, a big come from behind.
So with that set points, would that make compound more interesting?
That's why they did it. Is because they thought it'd make it more interesting. I don't know if you agree, but it sort of takes a little bit of like the best shooter out of it.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
it definitely makes it more interesting.
It definitely takes the best shooter aspect out of it. I mean, I can think of two cases right now that happened at Nationals last week, because I know Brady got knocked out in the quarterfinals by somebody he outscored cumulatively by a lot. Like in a head-to-head match, if you shoot in compound style with cumulative score, it would handily beat him, but he lost in a one-arrow shoot-off.
Okay. Well.
And then in the gold medal match for the recurve women, Casey got silver, and if you go back and watch that match, like Casey shot a higher cumulative score by probably close to 10 points.
Oh wow!
Across the match, and that's 5 sets of 3 arrows.
Yeah.
So out of 15 arrows, she was ahead by close to 10 points. I haven't done the math exactly, but and she still lost.
And that's just because if you lost the set, it didn't really matter what your score was in that set anyway. So you could shoot a 0 on a set, they could shoot a 30, and then And in compound, that would be like, oh, okay,
you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, even on an indoor round, for the most part, at that high level, if you shoot a 9, there's a chance you're done.
You're
if
done.
you shoot 2 9s, I mean, it's going up.
Well, Vegas, for example, you shoot a 9 at Vegas, you're pretty well out of it.
Correct.
I mean, you just are.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it does take some of the skill out of it, but it does bring in some excitement. It makes it more of a crapshoot, so it kind of punishes the higher end archers.
But it's for seeding though, right? Is it the cumulative score?
Yeah.
Well, the qualification will be cumulative, but then the matches. That's
The
where you
matches
have
are
the
not.
gambling,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah, but you
matches
still-
are a crapshoot regardless.
It's still, you're not gonna. The guy that qualified first is not gonna shoot the guy that qualified second.
No.
No.
What's it go 1 and 8, something like that?
Yes. So at
Then
this
2 and-
particular
2 and
indoor
7.
final, it was 1 and 8, 2 and 7, and just worked its way to the middle.
Okay.
But in some, like top 8 in your division, top 8 definitely in compound, it's like, okay,
There's-
good. I'm going against the 8th seeded that can
Well,
also shoot a
let's.
150.
I mean,
you know?
if you look
I don't know if
statistically at a 1 arrow shoot off, like what are your odds of winning it? 50-50,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So being able to survive not 1, not 2, but 3 of those, right? Like statistically, that should not have happened.
Yep.
At some point, I should have flipped that coin and it would have landed wrong for me.
So that's what I was going to talk about. So from my perspective, watching, because I watched all the preliminary ones for him,
Yeah.
and it was like the first one was like, "Fuck, he's throwing. Why are you throwing?" And then somehow he won. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he won." And the next one was like, "Oh my god, he's throwing again!" And it's like, "How did he win again?" And it was that one was like the closest. The second one closest to the center was like literally better than any arrow he shot the entire day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, "Are you serious?" And then the third, well, the third would have been the actual final, but that one was also like, "What the?" I obviously didn't see your expression when I was there, but when I watched the video afterwards, you literally look like when it goes off, you're like, "Oh shit!" Yeah. And then it's just dead center.
It wasn't the best shot I could have made, for sure. It landed where it was supposed to.
Did you know after the shot went off where it was? Could you tell?
I watched the arrow fly and hit the center, and I'm like, it was quick, it was uncontrolled, but I watched it and I felt good. Like the shot breaking was good, and I was like, that's money. It has to be. Even though I don't like those quick shots because I don't like not having control over my shots, but it did what it was supposed to.
Yep, it happened.
Yeah. So then, what was the next national shoot after?
So the next national one was the indoor nationals, the NFAA round, the 5 spot, and I didn't shoot particularly well at that. I think I got 4th. My shooting started really, really well at the beginning of the winter, and it maintained a high level, obviously. And then when I lost my mom, it kind of just like tapered down, but that happened after like qualifications for indoor nationals, after Lancaster, after all that. So all the really big stuff was over with, so I didn't know how I would do, and
So
it just,
indoor nationals was your first one after your mom passed, right?
the NFAA, well,
Yeah.
the finals.
The finals.
The
That
finals was the last
And
one.
I remember that being
And
pretty
that's-
emotional for you.
It is,
I mean,
and I really firmly believe the only reason I won was because she was watching over. There's no statistical way that I should have came back from
But-
losing in 2 matches against such heavy hitters, such good shooters, and won. I mean,
yeah.
that's it's one of those things I don't think I could replicate it ever.
Well,
And
I don't know.
you just take it as the blessing that it is, you know. And then indoor nationals wasn't really anything to speak of. I shot fine, not great, but I mean, I walked away with the win that weekend. So
Yeah,
everything else was just icing. Getting to see friends, shoot with buddies.
100%.
So that's why you do it. And the bareboat community is awesome, right?
Yeah.
So seeing a ton of really awesome people.
You
great
guys look
friends.
like you have a blast.
We do.
All the
we
time.
do. And we're, you know, the middle, the high end shooters usually are serious on the line, and then we can have fun off of the line, give each other a hard time.
Oh yeah,
It's-
that's all it's about. I mean,
Right.
So the one you went to Yankton, was it 2 weeks ago?
He didn't.
I didn't go to Yankton. I didn't go to. Actually,
Oh,
the
where
next
was-
shoot, the next shoot I went to was called Best of the Best in Colorado.
That's right. You
Yeah,
went.
we probably should
That
bring
was
Yeah.
that was a blast.
Who'd
and I
you
want everybody who's watching, all 14 people, to go to this tournament next year.
15.
Okay.
No, we usually get like 100.
Well, that's cool.
Which isn't bad.
I want everyone
archery.
to at least consider it. It's a tournament out in Colorado. It is bow hunter setup only.
So you better explain the bow hunter rules. 'Cause
So it's you could technically go with like a target bow, but I mean that kind of goes against the spirit of the competition.
Well, I think the
So
way
go
it
with your
sounds,
hunting
if
bow.
you come with a target bow, they're going to give you
They're
a
gonna
rash of
rip
shit.
you. Oh yeah, yes, yes, they're gonna. And a lot of hunting bows these days will contend with a target bow
100%.
with the same sight stabilizer setup. So, I was paired with Jacob Pettit. I guess I should finish going over the rules. But any hunting bow, no lens. You can shoot like a movable sight, so you could shoot like a landslide or an HHA,
Okay.
and I think it has to be under 15-inch front bar for you guys.
This is
for
3D,
me,
3D, right?
yes, it's 3D, and it's
Okay.
in the mountains in Bailey, Colorado.
Sweet.
Like, it is the coolest course. It contends with what I shot at the World Championship in Italy. I personally think it was better than the
Really?
Yes, the course itself was definitely better. But they have some pretty awesome shots. For us on the recurve, we just have to have a certain arrow weight and just don't show up with.
Could
a
you
target
use
riser.
your target bear bow then?
I mean, if it was the right color, you could.
Oh,
Right?
Really?
Because, I mean, what's to say I couldn't hunt with my XD? It's got dampeners in the pockets. It's real quiet.
Yep.
It shoots good. But, I brought my 19-inch Satori.
Okay.
With-
You're
And I still string walked.
Yeah.
Because that's a tactic I use when I hunt, too. The
Okay.
string walking and fixed crawls and stuff. But it was an absolute blast. Some crazy shots. I don't remember the exact angle, but I have a video of it. And we shot like straight down at like 30. It was like 35 or 40 yards of bedded
Wow.
ram. And I have a picture of it. I am like down like this shooting
What did you
Off
shoot
of a
it
cliff.
for effective yardage?
30.
What did he
And it
shoot
was
it for? Do you know?
Who?
Jacob.
So for the teams, we don't shoot together.
Oh, really?
We don't shoot together during the qualification.
So you shoot with
we
other
did-
bear bow guys?
We did shoot together during qualification. My mistake. And that steep shot was on day 2 on the individual day. So I was just with
Gotcha.
other peer group people.
Gotcha.
So for the team stuff, there was 2 groups, 2 teams that were shooting together the whole day, going through the course. Jacob and I shot very well. We were 45 points ahead of the second place team going into a 5-target shoot down.
Wow. That's
And
comfortable.
That was
Yeah.
very comfortable. And we shot well in the shoot down too, for the most part. And the cool thing about the best of the best, on top of the really badass range, the awesome competition format where you have a team day with a trad and a compound, and then you have an individual day, they do the shoot downs while people are heckling you.
I remember
So
Roland,
imagine,
we talked about this.
yeah. So imagine like the raunchy Happy Gilmore, people crowded around the green. Yeah, everybody's crowded around us shooting this competition. They're all just shit talking the whole time, and that makes it a ton of fun.
Oh, yeah.
It ramps the nerves up,
Yep.
absolutely, but it makes it way more fun, in my opinion. On the last one, because I was showing off to the hecklers, I took my arrow and I threw it like a tomahawk at the last target, and we won by more points than what we started.
Wow. Even after throwing an arrow.
Yes,
Yep.
Dang.
that was
They
a
have
blast.
14s or something?
No, they had a fair number of teams. I think they
Or
had.
14s. Like 14 rings?
Oh yes, 14s were in play.
Oh, so they probably
14s were in
everybody
play.
was just like, fuck it, and then end up like way
They could
below.
have, yeah.
So what was the max yardage?
52 is how far my farthest shot in the shoot down was. The longest one on the course was like 55.
Okay.
I had to take a 0 on it because I shot at the moose. It was a great big moose target at that long range, 55 yards, and I hit a branch on the way there, and it just sent it into orbit.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, you're aiming pretty high on that.
well, you have to. You have to shoot a 450 grain arrow. You don't get that to fly at 60 yards without an arc.
Yeah. That's a heavy arrow.
Yeah, out of a recurve anyway.
Yeah.
The individual day was also super fun. I didn't end up winning that. I was in the lead by a few points, and it came to the shoot down. And when it came to the shoot down, it was not my time to shine. I made good shots, and they just didn't hit. and Kevin Jensen's, they hit. They hit. So he took that one. He took it handily, and he's a phenomenal shooter. So it was.
Now, do you
cool to see
know a
that.
lot of the recurve guys from
A fair number of
from
them.
your bare bow?
Fair
shooting?
number of them, yeah. Because there's a few of them that compete on the bare bow side too.
Okay.
So
That sounds
absolute
like a fun
blast,
shoot.
beautiful scenery. I wish we would adopt that format and more tournaments, having like a mixed team and an individual
cool.
bow hunter style tournaments.
It would be cool.
I think the hard part is getting enough
Correct. Yeah.
to do it.
Yes.
But
And you know, everybody who does that, Gladiators Unleashed, Kafaru, all those other sponsors, they get a pile of prizes, thousands of dollars worth of prizes, thousands of dollars in cash payouts for everybody. So it draws a crowd for sure. Because I think for the first place individual won $1,000 in the trad side, and for the team shoot, Jacob and I each won $1,000.
So they counted both arrows, correct?
Yes.
For the qualification.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to.
You'd
with that
almost
kind
have
of
to.
Style. Yeah.
I mean, otherwise it's a one person shoot.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, highly recommend that to anybody who wants to go to Bailey in June next year.
it sounds like a good
Yeah.
time.
And then after that shoot, I shift gears to shoot 50 meters. I only had one shoot in mind, and that was Target Nationals. So I really didn't do a whole lot else over the course of the summer. I shot a few of the 900 rounds.
I saw you at State Target.
I shot fairly well at those. State Target I didn't shoot super well at, but I think there was just a random one at Waltonians. It was a 900. I shot 17 or 20 points above the national record there.
Really?
So it was good. That was a good day of shooting. And then Iowa games, I shot well there too. There wasn't any competition, nobody to shoot against, but my
But it was still good
my arrow
practice.
average for the round was high.
Good.
So, and then Target Nationals is the last one I went to.
Where was that at?
That was in Malvern, Pennsylvania. I've been shooting fairly well over the summer, and I had high expectations of myself and what I was capable of, just for myself. Not exactly like where I'd place and where I'd end up, but I had expectations for me, which isn't great. That can put more pressure on you and make it harder to perform at a high level. But I did it anyway.
Well, it's no different. I mean, you got to have a goal coming in.
Right.
I mean, you knew, okay, I've been averaging X amount of points
Mm-hmm.
on the last few 900. It was a 900 round, right?
Well, so this is a 72 arrow round.
Okay, so
Yeah.
but you've been averaging X amount of number
Yes.
score.
Yeah.
So you knew, okay, this is what I need.
Mhm.
And everything else will take care of itself.
Correct.
So-
Yeah, and from what I've found, I perform my best when I focus on a process goal and not an outcome goal. And I was focused on an outcome goal, unfortunately. And that's just a lesson that you learn over and over and over again. All of my indoor season, I was focused 100% on the process. I could care less about score. I knew my scores would end up in a range of somewhere between here and here. Every time I walked into practice here, every time I went to a tournament, I knew my scores would land between these benchmarks. And I just went in and I focused on shooting good shots. I kind of lost that mindset over the summer because I saw how well I was shooting in score in relativity to records and what people have put up before. So that's something I need to regain going into the winter.
But you're going to think about that regardless, because
Yeah.
if you keep score, I shot this. Well, the record's this. You're going to think about that,
Right.
But then you got to get back into the mindset. Okay, every shot matters.
Mm-hmm.
If I do my part,
That'll
takes
take care
come.
of itself.
it'll take care of itself.
So the first day, I didn't shoot particularly well. I was in third place. I think I was like 7 points behind second and 17 points behind first. There was a little bit of wind, not a ton, but it was kind of tricky. You would, stop completely or just shift to dead straight away, and then it would just kick over to one side and then it would kick over to the other. And that caused some inconsistencies there. And on top of that, I was just a little mentally off my game, and my execution wasn't as sharp as it needed to be. Day 2, I mean, I was 17 points down of the greatest barebow shooter to ever do it, John Demmer, and I honestly never thought about catching him. I just stepped up and I was like, all right, let's just see what I can do, execute good shots. And at the half, I think we were tied or within 1 point of each other, which I did not want to know that. But the scorekeeper was like, oh, you guys are almost tied. He caught you. And I was like, oh, damn it. And then I went to go distract myself at the half. So I was playing on my phone, and one of my buddies texted me. He's like, you're in first. Good job. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yep. Can't look
Sweet.
at the phone.
No, you can't do that, even if you're just trying to distract yourself for a little bit.
Did I message you or something?
No.
Oh, okay, I was
It
going
was
to say I
not
might
you.
have. I don't
It was
think
not you.
I couldn't remember messaging you, but I had looked about, like, I think it was, I don't know how far, it would have been like 400-ish total, like, number, somewhere in that area. And I was like, oh shit, somehow Robby came back, what the fuck? And then just like watch from there, like refresh it after like helping a few customers and stuff, and it was like, oh my god. And then I saw y'all let you finish the story.
Yeah. So I mean, I shot okay that second half, better than I did any of the halves the first day, but it was just a struggle bus because I knew we were close, and I saw that he shot this and I shot this, and it was like I would grab a point, I'd grab 2 points, and he'd come back and grab them, and it just going like back and forth.
Were you guys peer grouped?
Yes.
After day 1?
Yes.
They peer grouped you after day 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you were on the same target.
Yes. We were all on the same target.
Usually get back into it pretty quick.
So you said it was 55 meters, right? I mean,
It's 50
meters,
meters.
which is
55 yards.
really
55
rough, about 55 yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, he wasn't shooting particularly well. He was having some tune issues. I think he told me his shots were breaking money, and it just wasn't. It wasn't hitting the way it was supposed to. And I was just not executing well enough to hit sometimes, but not to what I needed, and not to what I was doing earlier that day.
That first half of that day, what did you shoot?
A 328, and it should have been a 330 because I shot 7 arrows my first end, with the last arrow being an 8 of those 7. So I shot a 56.
You shot 7 arrows.
Yes, I did, because I didn't know, because in the practice ends I shot a whole bunch, and another guy on my bail had arrows that were almost identical to mine.
Oh my god.
So I had
just
gold veins and flow yellow nocks. He had flow yellow veins and flow yellow nocks. So through the scope, you couldn't really tell unless you paid super heavy attention. And one of my first arrows was hidden behind another arrow. So I was just counting. I was looking at the veins. I was like, all right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, whatever. I get up there, and the clock's really run down. It's way more run down than any other of my ends. I was like, this is weird. And I shoot that last one, and it's a right 8. And I'm going through and count my arrows. I'm like, I think I shot the right number of arrows. And I get down there, and I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Damn it.
So what happened?
So I had to take an X. You take your highest value score, and you have to use your lowest value, regardless of what order they were shot in. So I shot a 56.
-1, right? Or no?
No, I shot a 56 with my first 6 arrows, because you shoot 6 arrow ends.
Okay.
56 is good. If you do 56, 57 back and forth, that's world record pace. To
Okay.
do that across the course of a whole 72 arrows. And I had to take a 54, because I had to take the X that I shot, pull it out, and then score the 8 that I shot on my last arrow. So 328 should have been a 330, but
Which, yeah, that would be
whatever.
really solid.
yeah.
330.
And in practice, not that practice scores matter, but it was anywhere from like 333 to 338 fairly consistently. So to be up close to that in competition with competition pressure on your peer group bail, that was a really solid half of shooting.
Yeah, which 338 would be above world record.
Correct.
Level, right? Yeah.
That's still a pretty good pace. I mean,
No, it was good. I was really happy with that half. I was executing exactly how I was supposed to. It was flowing. I didn't really feel like I could miss, and I was hoping I was just going to keep that rolling, and that didn't happen. It felt almost foreign to shoot the second half.
oh really?
Like I hadn't picked up a bow
What
before.
did you guys take a break?
We did. We had to take, I think it was 2 ends or 3 ends of makeup for somebody for an equipment failure. So I was just sitting there twiddling my thumbs for 3 ends.
Oh,
And we
boy.
get back into it. I'm like, all right, we got this. And then at that second half, the cam guys, competition archery meeting guys, come out with a camera and they're filming us the whole
Oh,
time.
really?
And that's new to me. I let that mess with me more than a
Did
little
they
more
even
than-
post that anywhere? I don't think
Yeah,
I've
they
seen-
did.
They did?
They did post it. I'll show you when we're all done.
Is it on Facebook or something?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, it wasn't on YouTube, yeah.
But yeah, that messed with me a little bit. I would be lying if I said it didn't, because I hadn't really had that before. Besides the finals, the indoor finals, I'd never been filmed
like
to where it had been
yeah,
published.
where they're actually watching you because
Correct.
you are
Number
shooting.
one.
Yeah.
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 Because I noticed they were filming John when he was in first, and then they stopped filming him and they started filming me, and I'm like, oh no, oh no.
That must
So,
mean something.
Back to your having to be focused on the process and not the outcome, because I wanted so badly to just hit the middle, and that it doesn't happen when you think about it like that. So for future reference in those situations, I have to really stay anchored in the present and anchored in my process. Don't let myself project into the future. Don't let myself look back at the past. Stay in that exact moment and do my job in that moment.
Yep.
So to quote Lynn, you kind of had a dumpster fire. For
It was a dumpster fire for sure. And you know, the last end I had, you know, a pile of people watching me.
And you knew they were there?
Yeah. Yep.
When
Yep,
did you
I
know
knew.
they were there? Like
When I was walking up to my last
Oh
end,
wow! Not
right?
even like
Because it was the last
halfway
couple
through he
ends they
looks
were all
back.
standing there.
Oh wow!
There was just a pile of people that were standing there watching that last end, and I was super antsy, shot super quick, uncontrolled shots. I shot a 6 and a 7. I shot a 49 out of 60 that last end, which is I think that was my worst
It
one of the
had
day.
to have- well, I think that was maybe your worst one of the whole weekend. I'm not sure.
It could have been.
I
Very
definitely
well.
looked at your scores and was like, because I saw the 6 and I was like, oh my god! And it lists that as your last arrow, but that it is highest to lowest.
Yeah.
But I like looked through. I'm like, he didn't shoot a 6 the whole weekend until that time.
Correct. Yeah.
But yeah, and you hadn't
And-
shot really that many 7s either. But yeah.
No, and it's one of those things, and I was like, all right, that's my score. And then I grab my phone, I look at the scores, and I'm like, he's 2 points behind me. I had way more 10s, so he would have had to beat me outright to win.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, all right, he's got to shoot a 52. So I get on the spotter, and I'm just watching, and I'm just like terrified. Like, oh no. I'm like, I'm going to lose this because I beat myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John's a phenomenal shooter, but like if I lost because I shot a 49 my last end, I mean that's all me, right?
Yeah, but would you want to be sitting in John's shoes?
Where you have to, hit
Where
it to
you
win.
know I need to have this to win this?
I don't think he knew a score. I mean, we're not really score watchers.
Okay.
We don't really pay attention to
You
that.
just
I
happened
just
to be
looked
that day.
I looked the last end when I was done. I had no more arrows to shoot.
Yep.
I looked and I did the math and I was like, he needs to shoot this.
And did you? How did like watching him through the scope? Was it like 10, 9, 10, and then all of a sudden it
He
fell
shot
off? Or
so
what
he
did it
shot
do?
a 51 that end. He needed a 52 to win.
Oh my.
And you were doing the math
he
as
needed-
you
yes.
watched it, right?
Yes,
So-
he needed a 10 to win on
the
his
last
last
arrow?
and he shot an 8.
Wow, that was
I
probably
was
a very weird feeling.
I mean, watching him, I can't express it enough. Like, it is like artwork to watch him shoot. He is extremely controlled, extremely deliberate. His shot breaks beautifully. It is like what everybody should strive to shoot like. And I've never wanted to put him in a position to where he needs to hit a 10 to beat me because there's a solid chance he's going to hit it.
Yeah.
So, and it just played out the way that he didn't that day. So I ended up winning somehow.
1 point over 144 hours for the
Yes,
weekend.
that's like it's a
1
fraction
point
of a
victory.
percent.
That's tight.
It's,
I mean, that's
it's
really
like
tight.
0.55 or 0.6 of a percentage difference.
Yeah.
It's astonishing how little it comes down to.
And the sad part is that you had a couple mental mistakes.
Yeah.
That,
And we all could count the mistakes that we made throughout the weekend.
100%. I mean, then your scores would just be higher. Might have been the same outcome.
Right. And like personally for me, like I'm extremely humbled and honored that I got to win and shoot at toe to toe with him and Hudson and all the other great shooters that were on the line. But like I would have rather gotten second or third shooting 660s than one shooting 630s. For me personally, because then I know that I performed at my level the way I should have.
Yeah.
And at that point, I don't care what place I get.
If
I perform at a level that I know I
did
should
weather
get.
have anything to do with the scores?
There were some wins. I mean, the first day was a little rough. There was definitely more of me that caused that than the weather, though.
Okay.
Because wind is just aiming off, right? Picking a spot and
Yep.
whatever. It'll drop your scores. Definitely a point or two per end, at least. If we're talking about perfect execution and you have your spot nailed down, it'll still rob you a couple points every end, which over 12 ends definitely makes a difference.
Yeah.
But I was not really on my game that day. So that was a little frustrating on my part.
So, did you get the same feeling you had at indoor in the final as you did,
I'm trying to think.
or was it a different feeling?
It was different. It was different because I had been watching like him struggle with his tune, and I was witnessing my own like falling off. So I was just more like I was like relieved that it was over because it was 36 arrows of just constant like mental torture.
Yeah,
Just like high pressure, high anxiety throughout the last 36 arrows because I knew what was like on the line. It was a championship, and I knew that I needed to perform. And it was frustrating when I wasn't hitting how I was supposed to. Because like he was shooting rough because of his tune for a solid chunk of the day. Right? It was obvious.
So you say tune. Is there much you can do as you're shooting?
Well, I mean, I've watched John tear his bow apart on a field course and put it back together and come out to absolutely spank us.
Okay.
Right. So like there is stuff you can do if you understand what's going on and how to correct it. It's definitely not an issue. You could absolutely do it.
Did he? So it seemed like he got it corrected by elimination day.
Yes.
I don't know.
Absolutely. And we'll get into that here in a second. But there were some times, and Hudson was shooting solid too, but he was also not quite catching it the way that he was prior. Like he would just kind of fall short. He would shoot a 7, or he would shoot a couple 8s into a group with his few 10s that was really keeping his score from taking off from the rest of us. And I was kind of having the same issue to where like if I was on in the second half like I was on the first, I would have taken off from everybody.
Your misses, were they in the same area, or was it a random here?
I'm trying to think. I could like nail down my mistakes. I would have some high ones that it was because I was giving my bow arm giddy up because I thought a shot broke low.
Okay.
And I would have ones that would hit low right because I was doing too much pushing and not enough pulling on the back half. Other than that, those two, the high left and the low rights, I didn't really have a ton of patternable mistakes. They just didn't hit. And that's fine. That's what happens when you're in high pressure.
Oh, I get it. That, yeah.
So I look forward to being able to go back out and do it again. We just got new bows from Hoyt, GMX 3, and that thing pounds. I love that bow.
You got that
I
how
love
long
that
before national
week and a
tournament? Yeah, that's what I thought, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So you took your black one, right?
I took so I have the black one, that's the Formula XD, and I took my GMX 3, which is a gray one. I don't think you've seen.
I haven't seen your
That's
new
the new one.
Yeah, I haven't
That's the
seen
new
it.
one,
I just seen the black.
They're very similar, The grip position is identical between the two. The only difference is one is an ILF limb pocket, so the space between the dovetail and where it connects with the limb is shorter on the ILF. So it just feels different on the draw, and it feels different on your fingers and how it holds. I personally like the ILF setup a little bit better. This bow is more designed with bare bow in mind because it had a lot of places to put extra weights. The reaction for bare bow is phenomenal. I think it does well for string walking. I shoot it really, really well. About as well as my XD, but it just seems like I can get it to sit and do what I want a little bit easier. But, I mean, I brought both bows to shoot with me. Both, I would trust either one of them to step up and shoot 10s when I need it.
Nice.
And I shot the XD all summer long, and those were the ones I was putting up big practice scores with, and the ones that I shot with at those 900 rounds.
Yeah. And me and Roland have talked about, like, on the compound side, not every bow will fit the shooter.
Yeah, but you can make everything fit you, but it's a lot easier with some.
Yeah, some bow, like, there's some bows you'll just shoot better.
Yeah, without changing anything.
I mean, you've been playing around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to.
Yeah.
And you just figure out this bow fits me best and I shoot it best.
Yeah.
And I think you pretty well figured that out now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the
And
bow I want, this is the company I want to represent, and this is the way we're going.
You even found that out with your hunting bow.
Yes.
You had a different hunting bow.
I've had Bowtex. I had a Revoltex that I really liked. That bow shot well. I had a Phase 4, the new Matthews. I shot that bow well, and then I have the RX-7 now, and they're all close. I shoot them all well, but I mean, I'm putting up pretty solid groups out to a very long ways with that.
I feel like you shoot better with the RX-7, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Seemed like as soon as you got that, it
just parks and it hits behind the pin.
Yep.
What more could you ask for?
I mean, I know they're two completely different risers, but do they feel the same in the hand?
Which ones?
Your
The XD.
From your grip, from a grip standpoint.
A grip and how I grab it.
Yeah.
I have identical grips on them from Jaeger Archery. I have the JD3. It's John Demmer's model of grip. So it's a medium wrist grip. It's got a slight slope towards the thumb, and then it's got a ridge. I love the ridge, being able to match that right where it needs to be. So that the grip feels the same. How the bow draws feels different.
Okay.
Because I can feel that the limbs are pulling a little more at the ends of the riser instead of with the formula. The gap is longer, so it just feels different, less stacky. The formula is less stacky, but for some people,
I get what you're saying.
Some people like more stack, and I'm one of those people.
Really?
It helps it hold.
That makes
better.
sense. I've watched a little bit of that, but it'd be similar to a compound if you shot it like a spiral cam versus like a softer, gentler cam. Like
Correct.
one, you kind of have to pull into it. One, it's just you can kind of relax a little bit more. Yeah. Which is crazy. I wouldn't think about that for
And then both of them, they've got internal dampening on them in the limb pockets, which is super cool. And they're super soft on the shot. Some bows I've shot, they're like a tuning fork.
Yep.
They're like a tuning fork.
They shot good though, but
those are the louder ones too.
Well, that one was particularly loud.
Yeah, some are like a tuning fork, and it's been nothing has felt as soft on the shot and has been as pleasant to shoot as this GMX and the XD.
Okay.
Because of that internal dampening that they have. And then another thing that I do is I put Ramrod's powder tungsten.
Yep.
They have a powder tungsten weight that goes in the pocket of the XD, and I replaced the 360 dampening with the Ramrod's one in the bottom. So now I'm adding more weight because it's a 3-ounce weight instead of the little piece of metal inside a rubber web. So it adds more weight to the bow. It puts the weight closer to the bottom, which I'm finding I like more weight towards the bottom of the riser and not any on the top. And I noticed it did not take away from the softness, which you might think that, you take out a nice rubber dampener and throw in a piece of metal, that it changes it.
Mm-hmm.
But that tungsten dampening, they feel identical.
Hmm.
Aside from the weight, I would not be able to tell the difference.
Yep.
So you're not losing any of the dampening features, but you're still getting that extra weight to help the bow hold still. Because we don't have stabilizers, so we have to make that bow sit by putting weight directly on
The bow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I remember we talked about earlier what your specs were on that. How they had to fit through basically the size of a Vegas face, and yeah.
I've been impressed with my ramrods that I got.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They shoot good. And I have them on my hunting bow too.
Yep.
They have a dampening technology inside the bar. I don't know if that's standard for them or just on their hunting bars.
I don't know if it's different. Is it called VibroCore? That's what mine says
be.
on the bar, but I don't know
very
if it's
well could.
the same or not.
But I mean, my RX-7 is 80 pounds, and I'm not shooting a particularly heavy arrow, and the bow's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It's dead quiet.
You're getting 300 with it.
Not 300.
What are you getting for speed?
It's an ultra, so it's a longer axle to axle with a bigger brace height. I think I'm mid 80s, mid 280s.
You probably got a 420 arrow, 420 grain.
He's probably got heavier than that.
450.
Mm-hmm. 450.
Actually, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So it shoots
really
good for.
Number.
It's fast for what it is. I can shoot out to 130 with it. I was doing it out here, which 130 is by the road.
Yeah, it's the shoulder.
It's the road. It's the shoulder. And yeah, I was shooting that in the wind a couple days ago, and they were all on a paper plate for group. At least the ones that broke where they were supposed to. The wind would blow my arm a little bit, and the two shots that broke dead center landed on top of each other in the dirt off to the left. So
Well,
the group's great.
yeah.
The group's great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then to continue on with nationals, we had the U.S. Open the next day, which is head-to-head matches.
Okay.
I was seated first, and then they had a couple buys. I think we went to the round 130 seconds was our first actual round. I shot against some great people, made some new friends. It's always exciting.
Same format of shooting.
As the indoor finals, yes. So you shoot 3 arrows
At
50 meters.
50 meters. So,
Yep.
so same target, same everything.
set system.
Okay.
Yep, and the same thing we did nationals all weekend. And I shot okay during those. My shots felt really good. I was doing my job, and they just weren't like pounding the gold the way that I was hoping and expecting. And it was fine for the first couple matches. I won 6-0, and then my quarterfinal match was against Maddie. Maddie's like a big brother to me, one of my best friends, and we're very even in terms of shooting. He didn't shoot super well at nationals, but you can never count somebody of that level out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we were pretty close to 50-50 anytime we've shot against each other, whether it be in an elimination round or in qualifications. We're very, very even. And he beat me 6-2. In the last end, it was 5-1 again, which is what it was at the indoor final. And after we were 5-1, I'm like, you see the score? You remember what happened last time? I'm coming for you. Next end, I step up, and I had one that was 8 that was out of the 9 by like a 32nd of an inch that I thought might be in, but given my luck, probably not, because my luck had run out the day before. But yeah, so he ended up winning in that match. He beat me. We got some awesome pictures.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we got some really awesome bromance.
Who even took those pictures?
Were you guys holding hands walking down?
Well, were you guys actually holding hands when you were walking down, or what?
There was a couple, yeah.
It looks like,
because
yeah.
we took one at Lancaster this year.
Oh, that
of
you're
him and
holding
I
hands?
walking back and forth.
That's
And we
funny.
turn around to look at the camera, all cutesy and stuff. And one of our friends, I think he shot compound. His name's Rom. He was taking pictures. Funny thing is, he did not have a media vest on. He was just following us archers out, and he got caught
Really?
right away.
That's
and they
so
gave
lame.
him a media vest for the rest of the day.
Oh, okay, that's good. For a second, I was like, "Are we
So
for real?"
he took some awesome pictures
Yeah.
for everybody.
He did. Yeah, your guys's was like perfectly symmetrical, and then the fists are just like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that one was taken by Marcel Lawrence. He's also a really good photographer that
Okay.
shoots barebow. He
Okay.
didn't have any of his camera equipment, so that was done on his iPhone.
It looked like a
That
it
was
looked
done on
good,
his
but it was in a
phone?
phone. Yeah.
yeah, that
That's
was a
still
phone
pretty
picture.
good.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the elimination day was fun. Obviously, I would have liked to have been able to move further on.
Yeah.
I have no issue losing to a friend and a teammate.
Oh no.
And at the end of the day, we each step up. We make the best 3 shots we can, and
Yep. And
it is what
ultimately,
it is.
you're still national champion.
That's
So,
yes,
hell
that's
yeah.
right. And then
Double.
He-
actually, because indoor national and outdoor national
Yeah.
champion at the same time.
that's in the same year.
Yeah.
Yep. The only thing I missed this year was field because it's expensive and it's not a trial year, so I'm not gonna go.
Is it in Darrington?
It was in Darrington. Darrington's very expensive to
We'll
go
go
to.
this
I
year. You get
love-
3 next year. It's fine.
Yeah.
So is there a series for shooter of the year
Mm-mm.
or
Not USA
Not
Archery.
not
for
USA.
them.
Not for barebow. There's
Yeah.
one. There's one for compound and recurve. That would be
Yeah.
something.
Which
Why
I didn't
not?
even know that they had that. I think
I
that's
don't know.
maybe
because
new this year.
you have classes at all the shoots, right?
Correct. Yep.
So
We do.
what's the deal?
No
I
real
don't know.
reason. Actually, it would be a really good idea because then, I mean, that definitely helps ASA, I think, just having a shoot of the year. But is that new this year? Because I never saw that before. The shoot of the year thing.
No, they've had it before.
It's cute.
Cumulative score.
You'll get it this time.
Cumulative points, right?
Correct.
Is that how
believe
they
it
do
is.
it?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
I've never been in the category to do that, so I don't know for certain, but I would imagine it would be cumulative score across indoor, outdoor, and field.
Should
Okay.
just lie back. No, it's set system.
It's
So if you
set
win one
system.
tournament, get
That's
2.
That's right.
Oh,
but
man.
Maddie then went on to win the semifinal match, so he went for gold, and I was in his coach's box there.
Yep.
So
I
that
said
was-
that to Roger, too, when I saw that you lost. I was like, motherfucker. And I was like, well, we'll probably still see him on TV because he's probably going to be in the coach's box.
Yes,
And he
absolutely.
was.
He's done that for me,
Yeah.
and I'm more than happy to do it for him. It makes it more fun.
Yep.
We know how to talk each other through.
You know how to say what each other needs to hear.
Exactly. Yep.
That's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And then Demmer shot really well all of eliminations.
Yep. He definitely should get in the gold final. At least most of what
He-
I saw.
So he shot his GMX for elimination day because he was getting some contact issues with his XD.
Is that what he was shooting on the qualification round? XD?
He shot his XD. Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
But like that setup for him the week before was shooting like way high of the world record. Like he was shooting really, really, really well. And he had shot that previously through the summer. I would shoot matches against him virtually. Like we would take pictures of each end,
Yeah.
and he was consistently really, really high.
So now, talking about scores, with the bows getting better, you think those scores are going to be broken just because of the better equipment?
So they're already fairly high. To shoot at a record pace in competition, I mean, it takes something extremely special. I don't know. 680 is possible. Definitely possible. I mean, I've shot it in practice, so it is doable, but
Is that your PR in practice, or what's your PR?
I think it's at 680 on the nose.
But I mean, the reason I ask that is because we'll take ASA for example.
There's just so many
what-
variables that happen in barebow that like if you have just a slight little breeze one way or the other, like you're gonna bleed points.
Yeah. I mean,
And I
too.
think it's really hard to get that in competition. Even if like shooting a 670 in practice, right, you're cooking. The only difference between something
Keep going.
in the 680 or 670s and 680s is just catching more lines
Yeah.
and one less mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really.
that makes sense. I mean, but
It's really
you
to
need a good
be
weather
much of-
day, be on, and be lucky.
correct. Correct.
yep.
Not that I've, my highest in competitions like a 650, 651. And
That's still a damn good score.
Yeah.
For
You know
what-
what world record is?
No,
I believe 673 or is it
Mhm.
672? 673.
73.
that's
Which, yeah.
like I said, I go back to across the board, everybody's starting in all classes.
To pick up.
everybody's
Yeah.
picked up points. I mean, I can't say it's the equipment or we just, I don't know what to count it for.
So
You know what I'm saying?
There's an effect that happens, and I've witnessed this before, right, with NASP. NASP was a beautiful example of this. In my NASP club, which I did not start, but I was one of the oldest when I got into it.
Okay.
Okay? And I started when I was in 8th grade. If somebody shot a 270, we were like ecstatic because none of us had ever seen it. We didn't know how it was done. We didn't know any form, tips, tricks, things to do to help us shoot better. We had the bar was so low, we didn't know how high we could push it.
Okay.
And then when people started shooting like 270s, then a few people trickled in to shoot those scores, and it crept up to shooting 280s. This is all out of 300. This is 15 arrows at 10 meters, 15 arrows at 15 meters. Till eventually, like, we've had a few kids on our team, West Des Moines Valley, that shoot in the mid-90s.
Wow.
Right? Which mid-90s will win state and contend for national type scores.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they've done it in competition. I've never done that in competition. My high in competition is like a 91. I've shot a pile of 98s,
That was my high,
97s,
too.
98s, 97s in practice in my basement in the backyard. And
It's weird.
I remember like shooting my first 50, right? Just thinking, whoa, this is amazing. And then in practice at 10, if you dropped it at 10, you were like, God damn it, I need to not do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like the growth of expectations and like what kids seeing what's possible definitely elevates everybody around us. So I think and I hope that in the future for Barebow that what we see is other people seeing what's possible with trailblazers like Demmer.
Yep.
He's an absolute trailblazer. You see the scores that he puts up compared to everybody else. He's won 2 years ago. He won nationals by 70 points. He could have not shot his last end and still won.
Wow.
Right? That's a trailblazer. He's showing us what's possible, and he is super helpful with how to do it. And then you have other people with a wealth of knowledge and form and mental prep, physical prep with how you can stay healthy to shoot, tuning prep, right? Yaka's a phenomenal coach. Frank McDonough, phenomenal coach. Alex Melnick, phenomenal coach. And there's a ton of people that are super helpful with spreading their knowledge out so we can lift everybody up.
Yeah.
Because that's the goal. Because if I walk into a tournament and I shoot a 620 at 50 meters, which I shot a 623 my first 8 nationals, I was not happy with it. If I walk in and shoot a 620 and I'm beating everybody by 50 points, what fun is that if I just walk in and don't shoot well and win?
Yeah.
I would rather lift everybody up to the point to where people are beating me and pushing me to do better.
So,
like what I said earlier, I would have rather got second, third, or not made the podium shooting 660s than winning shooting 630s.
yeah, you saying that, we noticed that, well, over the last few years shooting ASA in Iowa, the scores have just, you've got to shoot 20 up to even think about winning the shoot. I mean, anymore in any one of the classes in Iowa.
Yep.
That says, you're right, everybody's coming up together doing it. I mean, it's all about, we're getting to know it. I mean, in your barebow class, more people are shooting it, they're getting better at it. It's just more competition, and it's you're growing from size of a baseball, now you're probably the size of a basketball. It ain't gonna stop. I mean,
Right, and that's what we all hope for.
100%. I mean, it keeps the sport going because it's just.
Something I heard Steve Anderson say, which is like people who just get into it. He was mainly talking about like kids like Bodie and stuff, but it's like when they start, they see the scores and like, oh, that's just what I have to shoot, and so their ceiling starts higher in their mind, and like when you started, the ceiling was lower, so it's like
Well, I mean, for example, like when I started paying attention to world archery, if somebody broke 700 in the compound side or 710, that's really cooking. And I think like you have to shoot above 700 to make the cut.
Yeah, what was
or
it?
Close to it.
I think it wasn't even like maybe it was the World Championships or something. It was a World Cup or something, and it was like I think there was 50 above 700, and then I think there was like 20 above 710 or something. But it was like
which is
insane.
gnarly because like 10 years ago, there's maybe 2 or 3 that are over that 710 mark.
Yeah.
And it's not consistently.
No. Yep.
I could be totally wrong, but from what I remember watching, because it was about 10 years ago that I started watching people like Brady and Rio Wild, Jesse, and when they were all prime.
Mhm.
I mean, they all still shoot phenomenal, but like
100%.
Yeah.
when they were doing all of the World Cup stuff, nobody was touching scores like that,
Nope.
especially not consistently.
Nope.
So rising tides lift all boats, and that's what I really hope for the sport.
okay.
Because I would love for it to be that like at Lancaster, you know, you need to shoot above a 250 average to make the cut. Out of 64 people,
Yep. Speaking
250,
of that,
250 is solid, right?
Yeah.
That's a solid shooter.
Yeah.
The only thing between a 250 and 270 shooter is just some stuff upstairs.
Yeah.
That's all it is. They have every ability to be an extremely high-end shooter if they can get this figured out.
I think that's with any indoor game.
It is. It
I
is
mean,
for sure. But like, I would love to see that score get above that. I think it's been close. I think it's been in like
do you guys cut to 32 or 64?
64.
Oh, you do cut to 64.
Mhm.
Okay. So Compound last year also cut to 64. So I wish I could read off these names like I remembered all of them, but one that like really stuck out was Sergio Pani did not make the cut for Lancaster.
Right.
Sergio Pani has won Vegas 2 times. Like, you know.
Well, you know, talking about indoor shoots, look at all the 900s now that are shot at Vegas.
Yeah.
And 10 years ago, what was it?
not
Maybe
that many in the shoot off.
15?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're
probably not even.
Now we're over 20
yeah.
plus.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Last few of them.
a
have been
900.
20 plus.
And everybody goes, once you shoot your first 300, it's easy, which I have yet to do. But okay, I'll let you know if the second one's easy after I shoot the first one.
Right.
But
Right.
it's just the way the sport is. It's
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see just a total rise in competition, and because you know, if everybody starts shooting really well and pushing everybody, you know, we become a really competitive division. Then good things start to happen to us, just like they do with Compound. You get more sponsorships because it's more exciting to watch. You get more money. People would actually be able to do this and make some money, except at the couple big indoor shoots that pay out.
Hopefully that does happen for Bearville because I think
I
that'd
hope
be
so.
cool.
I hope so.
I mean, the Bear Bowl's fun to watch. I mean,
Bearbow ASA shoot down on TV. Paige Pierce, step aside. I don't know if you saw the argument stuff she was posting.
I
Yeah, I figured. Yeah,
but yeah, you know, it's I've watched the, you know, everybody's watched the Olympics archery, and that's cool. They get to the clicker and it goes, but
it's an art form. I love
is,
watching
yeah. But-
Olympic.
you barebow guys doing that would be a riot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Watching you guys, because you take it serious, but you don't.
Right.
You're gonna
Well, you
have
have to realize that
That's the thing.
bad things can happen, and
Yeah.
they generally do.
Yeah, I
right?
mean,
very few people can string together something over the course of an entire weekend.
the only
messing up
other
at some
sport I
point.
could see in the Olympics that could be as fun as that is the curling, because let's be realistic.
He's compared you shit to curling, dog. How you
game-
gonna just sit there?
Most of the time you play that game while you're drinking. I mean,
I've never.
you're there to have a good time.
I don't play curling when I'm
you know,
sober.
but I mean,
No, I'm kidding.
I don't. It brings a different feel to it.
Yeah. It'd be like hacky sack as if the Olympics. That's what you really or what
Well,
the cornhole world championship. I don't know
Yeah,
what they call
I
it.
mean, it just, you know what I mean. It's a side of archery. You got the compound guys. Some of them are. It's all business.
Yeah.
Even when they're back there. I mean, and
Olympic side too. I mean, you
Olympic-
see that a lot where people are, you know, off the
I
line,
mean-
headphones in, sit there till
yeah.
time to pull their arrows. and-
Well, what's the point? Let's have fun. It's a
Yeah.
competition.
I mean, yeah, whatever trips somebody's trigger, I like to have fun, and I mess around with the guys off the line and on the line. As soon as you know the 2 whistle blasts and I step up, it's game on.
It's game on. Yeah,
Yep.
100%.
And then as soon as that last arrow, however many shoot that end is done, then it goes back to being me, because I can't keep that determined focus for the span of an
I don't-
entire outdoor
Yeah.
indoor round.
I
I will
know
mentally get fried.
Yeah,
it'd be hard to do. I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, if you have like a day where you're like really on, you're like really focused, you're like tired by the end of the day. Like
Absolutely.
like, it feels like your eyes hurt. I don't know.
I remember when I shot an indoor trial where we shot 120 arrows straight for score. I remember being like 3/4 of the way through and kind of forgetting where I was at. I was like, wait, what am I doing? Huh?
well, you get
Oh, that's right, we're shooting. Oh, I should probably get up to the line and start shooting my bow. Yeah. So like that mental exhaustion is real, and it, for me, what I found is be extremely determined and focused on the line, and then off the line be able to disconnect. And I mean, still archery at some points, but other times not. Right? Get off the line, talk to somebody about where they went fishing last week, or what their plans are for this fall. Oh, you shot that? That's awesome. Let me show you like what I shot last year. That's super cool.
I think that's why I gravitate towards the archery, because
This is why you like 3D.
that's why I love
Because
it.
it's more of like a
3D
bullshitty kind of
3D
vibe.
is a very like
And don't get me wrong,
I haven't done it at a super high competitive level like the professionals have, right? I've done it in a bow hunter setting where I shoot just with my compound, sometimes with just a trad bow to get ready for hunting season, or I've done it bare bow. And you stay focused and for that one arrow, and then you step out the line.
It's
and then-
definitely easier because it's easier and harder because of that. But yeah, 'cause you have way more time in between and way less times you need to be focused. But I don't know. Depends on the type of person, I guess.
I'll say it 100 times over. Field is my favorite game by far.
Yeah.
To
Only
be
shot it
even
once,
more
so-
specific is World Archery Field.
Yeah.
NFAA
Never
field
shot
is
that.
fun in its own way, right? But it's all known distances. The distances are farther for NFAA field, which also makes it entertaining because for World we only shoot 50 meters. That's
Yeah.
it. That's as far as we'll shoot. But you shoot out to 80 for NFAA. But having the
With bear bow, what the fuck?
right, the unknown aspect is awesome, and like being able to stay focused across an entirety of a field round without making a mistake. I've never shot a field round and not made a mistake. Just because it's so easy.
I don't think I did. I had other problems, but I don't think I actually did mess up. Louis, on the other hand, at least 4 times.
Yeah.
Like either misset the sight or
Yeah.
did something, or like we moved up, didn't move it. It's like,
Yep.
But I don't know.
It takes a lot of focus to do well in a field round, and that's why I encourage anybody, like if you want to be really good at archery, go shoot field.
That's what Warren
go get
said.
good at field.
Yeah.
Warren
Go
said,
get good at field.
if you want to know your bow, go shoot field. Because it'll test it. It'll
Yes.
test your equipment. It'll test you.
Correct.
That was
I mean,
one
like
thing
for
I found
example,
out.
you step up to a target. You know it's this target face on the unknown side. First, you got to judge it. You got to figure out what target face it is, and then with however your judging system, you got to figure out how far it is eye line of sight to you. Then you got to figure out, all right, is it downhill to where I have to cut? Is it uphill to where I might have to cut? I might have to add because of how I personally shoot my bow. With a compound or an Olympic, it's cut both ways,
Yep.
right? But with a bare bow, if I just go straight up at it or just straight down at it, my body might be different in a different position.
Yeah, you don't
Because I don't have a
always-
clicker to pull
Yeah, you
through.
don't hit the same
I have
clicker.
nothing telling me where I need to draw to. So specifically for me, I may need to add, I may need to cut. We don't know, right? And then you have to look at the side hills, right? You guys have a bubble. I don't.
Which
So like
even
if
with a
I'm
bubble,
standing,
it's hard,
if
which
I'm
is-
standing on
yeah.
a sideways hill, I have to calculate that. I have to calculate how much to cut. I have to trust that I judged the target correctly for distance. And on top of all of that, I have to make a good first solid shot.
Yep.
Okay,
I
my
can't
head
just-
hurts.
When the
I
Right
can't
now.
shoot. I can't shoot yippee.
yeah.
I can't make a yippee shot or a weak shot. I have to make sure that first shot is fired strong, directly at the middle, so I can make an adjustment. Because you only
Yep.
get 3 arrows for World Field. That's not a lot of time to recover
Yep.
from
If
it.
that first arrow misses, he's just like, which one did I fuck up? I don't know which part. Maybe that one.
Uh-huh. You can't
There's
just
a
get
lot that goes
punchy.
into it.
You can't just get punchy out and move on. I mean,
Correct. So when you can play that game and stay focused for at least the entirety of a target, going from target to target, there's nothing that says you can't shoot really well when you step up and shoot a 20-yard dot all day long, because there's nothing else to do except you stand up and shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
Definitely different. I mean, different
yeah.
skill set.
I mean,
and stuff.
these games got to be 80% mental.
Yeah.
Well, once you start shooting enough, where you get the muscle memory down, it's 80% mental.
80% is probably low, but yeah. Or like at the top end, everybody has the same physical. They all shoot a bunch of arrows. Well, some of them. It depends on compound and shit, but yeah, what's the difference on the day is going to be 100% mental.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's fun. We all do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a passion we do. I mean, I wouldn't change what I do for doing it. I mean, it's a great time.
All right. So
And then-
first, go ahead.
Plans for the rest of the year and into next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hunt a lot.
Where are you
Where are
going?
you going this
You
year,
got any
or-
trips planned?
I'm going to go to Wyoming. I leave
For
antelope with
Yeah.
a rifle. I'm cheating.
Well, it's okay.
So I went out to the rifle range this morning and I made sure that both guns I'm bringing
What are you taking for guns?
a 300 Win Mag, and then I have a 280 Ackley, and they're both good out to 600.
So I got a funny story. A buddy of mine, Joey, went antelope hunting, and they saw one, and they didn't range it. Okay, they go, oh shit, that's only a couple hundred yards. He shot dust about 400 yards from it.
Yeah.
He ranged it. Rangefinder wouldn't get it, so his rangefinder only went to 600.
Going out west is weird.
So he was telling me he got all that figured out, and figured out the range. And the one day they shot 3 in 45 minutes. When they picked them up, they drove down a logging road. They were all laying dead on the logging road.
Wow.
He goes, by the time they were shot, they were butchered and in the cooler in an hour.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's impressive. Yeah, out west is weird, especially when you're bow hunting. We cannot judge out there. Us as flatlanders that live in the woods and cornfield, like, we cannot judge. I cannot stress that enough. Until you get out there, you look at a deer, or
it
you
ain't
look at
that far.
you look at a cactus, and you're like, oh, that's 40. Click 75. What?
I can see
What?
that. Yeah.
And then obviously it gets worse out far. People have told me that it's not ethical to shoot at certain distances, but I'm like, when you're looking at something at 100 yards and it looks like it's 60, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm still going to shoot at it. I didn't drive 20 hours each way to watch something
Those people
walk
that
by
say it's not ethical don't shoot.
that far consistently.
level-
Now, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong when you shoot it a long ways.
I'm not saying that, but the guys that do it shoot that level. They practice that.
Correct.
I mean,
I know that when I go out west with a bow, that arrow is going to land behind the pin. And if it's not going to land behind the pin because of wind, I'm going to make that adjustment, and that's an adjustment that I've practiced.
yeah. I mean,
And I need to be better at this, but like, I have a decent ability to stay disciplined. That, like, if my pin is not sitting enough to kill it,
you're not going to shoot it.
I'm not going to shoot it.
Because I remember Levi shot a goat at 102 yards, and he got a rash of crap.
Yeah, but
Which
his
is one
100,
of the-
his 100 is like most people's 30.
Yeah,
That-
which
that-
is the
but-
irony of that is like.
But you know what I
insane.
mean? They were saying that wasn't
It's
ethical.
like
I
you
go,
literally say the goat of 3D archery. Like, oh my god, I can't believe you shot something at 100 yards. Like,
Like, that's
have
it.
you seen?
100?
Yeah, have you
That's
seen what he
it?
does not knowing the fucking distance?
but
Like-
you know what I mean? It's that they're not educated in
Yeah,
the.
They just
practice
haven't
of
seen
that.
the skill
Yeah,
set.
it's a different skill set.
There's a lot of on top of that, part of being a good hunter is knowing animal behavior. If I have an animal that knows I'm there, staring at me,
Probably not.
that's about to bust, I'm not gonna shoot at it at 100 yards because it will be in a different zip code, and I'm gonna break my arrow. But if it's got, if it's feeding, it has no idea what's going on. I have good cover. None of the other animals around it are alert. The wind's calm. All of those positive things, all of those green check marks in my head, I'm gonna let it rip. Like, if it's on my sight tape and I can't get closer, I'm gonna shoot it. Because I know that at the end of the day, if that pin sits and it breaks, that's where it's hitting.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, right now, I would 60 yards is probably my max.
Right.
And that's me.
Mm-hmm.
But that'll be a last resort.
Equipment setup matters too, right? Because like on a fixed blade broadhead, that cuts my range down immensely. Because if there's any side to side wind, like that fixed blade's going to get blown one way or the other.
So you're going to shoot mechanicals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
probably a rage.
But, you know, for your average Iowa hunter that shoots deer.
Oh, yeah. 20 yards.
Like the average bow kill in Iowa was, what, 15 yards?
Yeah. And that's because people have set up their stuff correctly and they pass things that they know they shouldn't shoot at for the most part.
Yeah.
That's people practicing good ethics.
And
when you go out west, though, and people that haven't hunted with a bow out west, that's a totally different ball game.
Yeah. So out west hunting, I mean, you shot it at 100. It's not bragging. It's out west. That might be the window for the animal.
I don't want to shoot that far.
I mean, you know, let's say you go out west hunting. If you can only get 70 yards to an antelope and that's it, you're gonna take a shot.
Yeah. See, that you're just gonna go home empty-handed.
Yeah.
I ran across some people in Arizona this last year when I went down there, and they've hunted for 5 or 6 years. And they've never killed anything. They're like, yeah, but we got 60 yards away from this really big coos deer once. And I'm like, how far do you shoot? They're like, well, like 30 max. Wow. I'm like, all right. Like, okay. I mean, to each their own. However much you can practice, devote to it, stay disciplined and not winging an arrow at something. I would like be tickled pink if I could get 60 yards from an animal out west. I'm a terrible hunter. I can't get that close to stuff.
Yeah.
I took 4 shots out west, and it was like 89, 105, 113, and then I eventually killed at 24 because a coos deer buck followed 2 does that walked like 10 yards from me, and he just followed them right up and super quick. And that was just me being at the right place at the right time. That was not me being a good hunter.
Yeah. I've got a lot of friends a few friends that go out west, and they will practice 100 yards religiously.
Yeah.
Before they go.
Yeah.
Because you don't spend that time, even if you're out hunting elk, you gotta, in the back of your mind, go 60 may be it.
Mm-hmm.
If I even want a chance at killing something, I'm gonna have to be able to shoot 60 plus, because you're not guaranteed for that.
No, I would be tickled pink to get a 30-yard shot on an animal every time I go out west. I would be tickled pink.
Yeah, but
I would absolutely. But I'm a terrible hunter, and my motto has always been that shitty hunters have to be really good shots out to a long ways.
Yep.
So I feel like that's the bucket that I fit into. Not saying I'm a really good shot, but I can hit what I'm aiming at a good chunk of the time.
There's killers, and then there's target people.
I'm a target person.
And there's guys that just flat out kill.
I'm a target person that's trying to learn how to be a killer.
Yeah. But it's all fun. I mean,
I love it. There's nothing better than like waking up and looking at God's creation every morning and being able to go out there and witness nature when you're like invisible. Nothing knows you're there. That's something that's really special, and I wish that more people got to like really witness that. When
I hunted hard, I mean, last few years I've been super busy in the fall. It just hasn't worked out, but when I've had the chance to go, it's so much fun sitting there and you have a deer from me to rolling. I was in a blind.
I have no idea.
Yeah, do you know I'm here? I mean, I had a bobcat circle around the blind twice and leave, and the whole time, and all I did is take pictures because fur bear season wasn't open.
Right.
I'm going, why? Why? You're 15 yards. I'm never going to get this again.
Yep. Yeah, I've had that.
Guess
too.
what? Haven't got it again.
No.
Or I'd have one hanging on the wall. But,
right.
I mean, you don't get that.
No.
I mean, I think, Warren went out west and he got a muley and a nice elk. And they're 2 nice animals.
Yes. Beautiful.
I mean, I think I've seen, there's a couple of videos on the Badlands Film Festival shows an elk, and it's called The Ethical Shot, That elk was 5 yards from her. She was at full draw. She could not see the vitals. The problem was when the elk stopped, it's on video. You can, she's from he to you to the elk. Elk doesn't know she's there. She's behind a pine tree, and all she sees is his head. Then the elk spots the cameraman and takes off running, stops at 30 yards, but he's quartered too. She let down and let it go. That's discipline.
Correct.
That my heart would have been jumping out of my chest if that elk was from me to you.
Oh, absolutely.
Going, and that's on film. You're never going to forget that.
You could pet it.
Yeah, you're going, holy cow. But I shot with Zach. Shane, sorry. Whoever went with me to Steve's. Yeah, Shane.
Yeah, really similar name.
And
easy to mistake.
He was telling me his first elk hunt. Yeah, his first elk hunt. The guy says, go down here, and they're coming down, so get down in the meadow opening and sit there and crouch. Well, he got crouched. He saw the ass of the elk come around. He had the arrow in his hand, the bow in his hand. The elk was 4 feet from him, and there he sat. He goes, if I move, it's gone. I can't do nothing. I can stab it with the arrow. But he goes, I could hear it breathe. How it's like, I go, that's an encounter you will never forget.
No.
And that's why we shoot like we do, to experience that in the fall.
Right.
Or whenever your season is. I mean, right now the out west stuff's opening up. I had another guy on staff with me that he was in South Dakota, shot a nice muley. I mean, there's a lot of hunting going on right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't shooting at nationals, I would have been in South Dakota trying to chase mule deer too.
I mean, it's why we do what we do. I mean,
Absolutely.
Like Jacob said when we talked to him, you practice all summer for that one shot.
Correct. Maybe.
The one shot
Maybe.
of your lifetime, or you might not ever get it that year, but you're ready. I mean, that's why we do it. I mean, Roland's going to try to hunt a little more.
I'll try again.
Well, I understand. Not everybody hunts, but
Yeah.
I think once you've experienced it gets in you. It's cool.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Some people like it, some people don't, and there's nothing wrong with it either way. If you don't like to hunt, that's fine. I understand. I will never force it down anybody's throat, but I think sitting in a tree stand, like now, like 1st of October, you don't like the cold, go out and sit in a tree stand. You're going to see stuff you've never seen before.
Right.
I was out there one night, and I had a family of coons sitting down there playing in the water below me. It's like, wow. I mean, it's like, you little bastard, stay down there. I want to club you with an arrow. I'm trying to kill the deer that are coming. But it's just, you never get that close to anything.
Right.
Which, it's fun. So.
Or to watch 2 bucks fight, a buck chase a doe down, 2 little fawns that are just chasing each other around playing.
Yeah.
Right. There's just things that people who don't hunt will never get to experience.
We'll have to get Mark on here again, but apparently when he was up in Alaska, they were in a boat going around the river, and they just came upon 2 muskox, just full bore, just bam, and
Really?
their rear legs were hopping off the ground because they hit each other so hard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what else do you have plans? So you have the hunting in out west.
Yes.
Antelope.
Yep. So I'm gonna leave it in 2 days for that, and then I go to South Dakota at the beginning of October to go hunt mule deer with a bow. So I'm either
Seth or somebody else.
No, so I'll go with my cousin.
Oh,
if they're not in the field. So they're farmers.
Oh,
my
gotcha.
family's farmers. So if they're not in the field, then he'll come with me. Otherwise, I'm gonna try to figure it out by myself.
All right.
That'd be fun.
So make the crappy hunter hunt alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just your typical Iowa stuff. So we
Yeah.
have some private ground that we hunt here. I'm trying to get better at hunting public ground because it's closer. And I was just out before this shooting with my self bow that a friend made me. I was grouping pretty well when I didn't mess up.
When people weren't watching.
Yeah. When
But
people,
no, it's fine.
yeah.
And
So
then
I'll
you're
try
gonna
to chase some deer with that.
main tournaments this year: Lancaster, Vegas,
So
internationals.
Iowa, Lancaster, Vegas, indoor nationals for the indoor stuff. if I'm fortunate enough to make the finals again, I'll go to the finals. Those shoots are the big ones.
For you guys, yeah.
Yeah, that's where all the money is for
Definitely.
barebow. Lancaster's payout is $8,000. Vegas is $5,000.
I didn't even realize it was $8,000. Wow.
And then you throw whatever contingencies on top of that. You'll get a couple grand extra.
Yep. Which shout out to
okay.
Gas, who sponsors you.
Gas bowstrings. They support us.
They do a contingency for you
They
guys.
do a contingency for us, which is awesome.
Mm.
Because some companies don't. Some companies, I've won stuff and I was looking through and there's nothing for barebow.
Oh, yeah.
But companies are getting better about that, especially since it's growing and
Yep. Gas seems like a good company. I mean,
yeah.
everybody I met, like Aaron and stuff, is really
Yes.
cool. And
Yep. Gas is good, Hoyt is good. All the companies that I represent they do the right thing for barebow, which is why I represent them, and they want to represent me.
Yep.
So I'll be at some of the indoor stuff with you. I'm gonna do Midwest Open, Iowa, then Vegas.
Okay.
That's my plan for this year.
Yeah.
So for indoor stuff, then focus on getting ready for Foley and after Vegas, and give Foley I'm gonna go down and give Foley hell. That's my plan.
Good. I wish
Again.
I wanted to do more ASAs.
Yeah, but if it's just not your thing, it is what it is.
I tried it. 1 year.
Which
I
one
might
did you
do-
go to? Metropolis or?
I went to Metropolis and London. Those are the only two that I've done, and then I've done some state stuff.
You went to some fucking ones. Holy shit! You went to like probably, I don't want to say the two worst ones, but it depends on what you view it as. Like Metropolis was probably 100 degrees plus, right?
Yeah, that was hot.
Yeah.
And then
It was
London
hot.
is
And
just
then
like, well, London you
always
actually
rains.
would probably like more because it's probably more hilly.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's where we shot our world
the game
trials last year.
And you probably shot the power line for that, didn't you?
No,
You didn't
compounders.
Shot the
Compounders
power
shot
line.
the power line. We shot a course that I've shot the other 2 times that I shot London, and
Interesting.
it was I would personally like to see the trials move to like an IBO style where you walk through the woods.
I mean, that makes sense because obviously.
because that's what Italy was like. Italy was a trail shoot in the mountains.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what Italy was.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It was super fun, but like when you shoot it at an ASA style, all you have to do is know like how to judge the first couple ones, and then
Yeah.
you've got it fairly well figured out for the rest. And that's not the case when I was over there. I mean, that was probably one of the more challenging tournaments I've ever shot. You're in the mountains in Terni, Italy, and you're shooting ups, downs, major side hills, targets that you've never seen before. It was supposed to be a Reinhardt World Championship, so it was all Reinhardts. So I would hit every local shoot that had Reinhardts to learn how to judge them. Then we get there, the boat didn't show up in time, or the plane didn't drop off the targets in time, whatever. So we shot like half Reinhardts and then half little Italian targets that I'd never laid eyes on before. So I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, all right, it's that far. Boom. Nope, that wasn't it. That was wrong. Wrong shot. Wrong guess.
So I didn't know if you noticed, this year we did have enough trad shooters. They had a shooter of the year.
Sweet.
Who won it? Do you remember? Do you know?
No.
Yeah, I'm sure you know who it is. Who?
Tim Delph?
I think that
Could be.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think.
I don't know.
I don't. It sounds.
I
familiar.
wish there was more barebow shooters in the state.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's less than counting on one hand.
Yeah. But I was impressed that we had enough trad guys to have a shooter of the year class.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep. Yeah, if you ever go to another one, you should go to Foley, probably number 1, and then I don't know what the collection.
That's the one in February, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes it hard because that's still in the heat of indoor season. And
Well, yeah. Well, for you it would be because it'd still be USA indoor, but yeah, it's nice because one, it's like usually like 70 there apparently. That's what it was when we were there, and it's by the ocean and stuff, so it's cool. But that's definitely your favorite one too.
Foley's my favorite. I mean, the way it sounds this year, we just will take a bus.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah,
Iowa
we're
people.
probably gonna have like 20 plus people from Iowa going, so it'll be fun. But
Yeah.
And then World Field, I'm going to try out for that team. That's in Lac La Biche, Canada.
oh wow,
They're doing 3D and field again in the same year, which bums me out because I either have to not go to one or save up a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
to go to both.
So you're going to field.
I love field.
Yeah.
So I don't really like the 3D game, but I think 3D's in Slovenia, which is a gorgeous country. That's an awesome place. I wish they held field in the cool countries instead of, Yankton, South Dakota and Lac La Biche, Canada. 3D
Yeah.
was in Rome, or just north of Rome.
Yeah.
Super cool. Now
You're
3D is
not
going to Slovenia,
Yeah.
which I've heard from a Facebook friend of mine that I shot with in Italy. He said that the course that they shoot at there is gorgeous. It's an amazing course. So I want to go.
Yeah.
Well, they'll have it back. I mean, like back a few years ago, like 2012.
They used to alternate.
Yeah.
They used to,
Or,
every
I mean-
even year was field and odds was 3D.
Just where it's at. Like in 2012 was Italy for field. Because
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching some Jesse Broadwater video.
Would that have anything?
18 was in Cortina, Italy.
Yeah. And then one of those years it was in like Ireland or something.
Yes.
Dublin.
14 was Ireland.
Yeah. Which
No,
also-
16. 16 was Ireland.
Yeah, you're right. 16. Yeah.
That won't have anything to do with the Olympics being gone next
Not
year.
really.
So
Somebody's here.
it wouldn't coincide.
Who's here?
Probably like
It
Dylan or
wouldn't
somebody.
coincide with it.
Oh, it's Mark.
It's Mark.
What's up? Why you guys back? Where'd you guys go? That was a long time.
It went 8.
What are you doing in your shop? We're busy.
Yeah, what? Yeah, you guys. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, I thought you were talking about tomorrow. Oh, you're going again? Oh, okay, gotcha. All
Ohana
right. Well, was there
Steakhouse.
anything we didn't talk about you would like to talk about, Robbie?
No.
All right. Well,
Very good.
he sells insurance, and that's it.
Yeah.
See you
we're
later.
good. Later.